You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday, happy Mars Day, and happy birthday to all of our Tauruses out there. If you are celebrating a birthday today, let us know in the comments so we can celebrate with you. And you are among really great company. In fact, today would have been Bob Saget's birthday. R.I.P. Bob. Also celebrating a birthday today, Nikki Reed from the Twilight series, Enya, beautiful Taurus energy. Also, Derek Huff, Sugar Ray Leonard, Craig Ferguson, Jill Duggar, Taj Mowry, some interesting celebs, but of course, most notably, Bob Saget. Can't believe we lost him this year. So today we have a really interesting transit to talk about that could actually have a lot of different interpretations. Oh, Kayla, I didn't know you're joining from Florida. Good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. Good morning if you're on the West Coast. Today we have, you'll see why it could be interpreted a lot of different ways. Mars and Neptune are meeting up in the sign of Pisces, the watery, fluid sign of Pisces. Mars has been transiting through Pisces for the past several weeks. Neptune is right at home in Pisces. So what does it mean? Well, let's pull up the chart and you can see these two bodies together in our chart in the sky at 24 degrees in Pisces. A great time to look at what's happening around 20 to 30 degrees Pisces in your chart. This transit will be activating that energy. So maybe, what house it's in, or if you have any other planets there, you're going to want to pay attention to that. But what does it mean when Mars and Neptune meet up in this way? Well, Mars is the planet of aggression, of action. It's that motivation, that drive, that stamina. Neptune is the planet of dreams, intuition, the subconscious, sensitivity, psychic abilities, all the things that we can feel but can't see. It's very fluid, blurs boundaries, creates cloudiness and confusion, which is why this transit can feel a bit confusing. It's like our actions, our drive are merging with that imaginative, fluid energy. And so when this happens, let's talk about the dark potential and the light potential, because with every transit, there is a darkness and there is a light. So we'll talk about both of them. I like to start with the darkness because ending with the light is always my go-to. So I don't even want to say a negative note, but things to maybe look out for. This transit can make the actions we take feel very messy, and it can make us prone to delusion, to deception. Other people's actions can deceive us very easily. Anytime we have Neptune involved, we want to be careful of that deception, that delusion, because it can almost envelop whatever transit it's in, especially a conjunction, in a fog. So we might feel confused about our own motivations as well. It can feel like, is it intuition or is it impulse? Because Mars can make us really impulsive. We might be confused between a gut feeling and a feeling of discomfort that we just want to move out of, if that makes sense. So really make sure you're not acting on impulse. slow down here. Energetic boundaries can be blurred too. So having those boundaries, having, boundaries for ourselves, for our own feelings can be really important. I was watching Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. I keep referencing it, but if you haven't seen it and you have an HBO subscription, highly, highly, highly recommend. And she talked about boundaries and how you can't have empathy, compassion being ruled by Neptune. We can't have that without boundaries, because without boundaries, we don't know where someone else's emotions and feelings end and where ours start. So we can't properly hold space for other people. So, this could also create like a little bit of a savior complex today. Like you might be willing to jump into action to like save someone else or be compassionate, but that might not be actually the best thing for them or for you. So definitely something to keep in mind today. And some other potentials of this transit, just be really careful. We're more prone to injury or accident when Mars and Neptune are conjunct like this. It definitely opens all of our sensitivities, and it can open our physical sensitivities too. This transit is exact actually at 11:30 tonight. So yes, we're feeling it right now, but it will be exact at late tonight, 11:30, even tomorrow morning for people like Kayla who live on the East Coast. So you might be feeling this kind of confused, like which action do I take, or, just kind of messy action today. But don't be surprised if tonight you have some aggressive dreams, because Neptune rules our dreams. Mars is the planet of aggression. You might have some dreams about war or just aggression in general, maybe even a little bit of violence in your dreams. That's a trend I've been seeing. I put out a call on Instagram to tell me about your vivid, wild dreams, and the responses I got were all about violence or attacks, which is really interesting because Mars has been coming into this conjunction with Neptune for the past week or so around this eclipse. Really interesting. Hey girl, glad you made it as well. I streamed at a weird time yesterday, so I'm glad to see you here this morning. Okay, so we talked about the shadow side of this transit, the negative potential of Mars and Neptune meeting up in this way. But as with the shadow, there's always a light. So how can we use this energy to our benefit? What are the positives of this conjunction? Let's talk about it. Now, Mars and Neptune can help us flow with our intuition, take intuitive action. We just want to be really sure about that action. So maybe this is something that you've been thinking about for a while, kind of ruminating on, letting settle, letting get a little more solid within you, and now you're ready to take that intuitive action. Your actions will probably flow really easily today, not only because Mars is conjunct with Neptune, but because this is happening in the flowy sign of Pisces. So your actions will probably feel very natural and very intuitive. But again, we want to make sure we're not confusing intuition with impulse, right? Because it can feel a little too easy to act, if you know what I mean. It can be really easy to get carried away in a fantasy or with our imagination. That's why we're more prone to delusion and to deception. Back to the positive though. Actions will flow really easily today, and we can act with compassion and empathy as well, because Neptune rules that sensitive, sweet part of us and allows us to feel what other people are feeling, which is why boundaries are really important. But this makes for a beautiful energy of helping others. If your actions are to benefit other people, that will be favored today. Just make sure they actually want your help, right? Don't be the martyr. Don't be the person always sacrificing your own needs to help other people and then maybe blaming them or holding resentment for it. If that's you, we've all been there, but today is the day to maybe recognize that patterning. I will say it's not a great day to start anything new because our motivation is a little bit clouded and foggy, but it would be a great day for charity work or doing something generous, benevolent, compassionate, especially because we have the moon in Sagittarius. So we're going to get into that in just a moment. But the final thing I'll say about this Mars conjunction to Neptune is if it feels confusing, if it feels cloudy or foggy, just hold off, just wait. You don't have to take any actions today. There are no deadlines, there's no rush. So unless you are crystal clear about what you're doing, maybe hold off on it. If it feels natural, if it feels good and it's not harming or affecting anyone else, hey, try it out, see where it takes you. But I wouldn't do anything that carries great weight today. And I wouldn't, like, if someone's trying to convince you of something or sell you on something or getting you to join a program or something like that, today is not the day. Wait. If it feels exciting, if it feels inspiring, hey, that's a great thing, but wait until maybe Mars moves away from Neptune, hey, maybe even after Mercury retrograde to move forward with that idea or with that plan. But as we mentioned, the moon is in Sagittarius. So let's talk about what that means. Oh, wow. Vivid dreams of massive tornadoes last night. Okay, wild. Everyone I've talked to has been having crazy dreams, myself included, and there has been like a violent nature to them. It's really weird. Overall, the past few days, I felt this push from Saturn showing me that if I don't take action towards what I know I'm supposed to do, Saturn energy is going to make it so anyways. Kayla, in about an hour here, we're going to have a whole episode about Saturn returns on The Spiritual Journalist. So if you can, come back and we're going to talk all about Saturn returns. But you know, sometimes Saturn can make it feel like we have to do something or kind of be that like authoritative, like you need to do this, you know? And I would say just remember, everything is going to happen in divine timing. Like Saturn is going to make it so anyways, right? So yes, like do the things you need to do, but also don't put too much pressure on yourself. Saturn can feel like a weight on our chest and you have time. It's all going to work out exactly how it's supposed to. I just got an opportunity to study astrology yesterday. I'm excited. Decided to give myself a couple days to really commit to it. I love that. I love that, Elena. And you know, you're excited about it. You have this opportunity, but I love that you're giving yourself a few days. Like, is this really what I want to do? And I think with Mars conjunct Neptune too, it can help us really like feel into our motivations, right? Like, is this something I really want? And if there's any confusion, know that that's just kind of the current energy. But I think this conjunction gives us an opportunity, like, how does this feel in my body? How does this feel to me right now? And kind of being in that dreamy, imaginative state rather than actually pulling it into physical reality just yet, if that makes sense. But I'm excited for you. I love studying astrology. Jupiter in Aries. Yeah, Jupiter in Aries. And okay, so you're probably having your Jupiter return as well sometime over the next year. And yeah, you probably have this urge to like start something new or just do it, go for it. And I think this is a good point for all of us because we're all experiencing Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter's going to be here for a while. Okay, you guys, like we're going to be going through this for the next year. Jupiter is going to go retrograde. It's going to move back into Pisces. We have plenty of time to start new things. I would say today is not the day to like full out start something new because again, there's a lot of confusion around our actions. Yes, Elena, you are on the right page. Just got to make sure I will really commit. Yeah, and you know, if doubt is coming up, that's okay too. Remember, there is this transit with Neptune involved, Mars and Neptune can confuse our motivations or our drive, you know? And so it can kind of, I will say too, your energy levels might feel like a damper is on them right now with Mars conjunct Neptune. Mars is that like physical energy and Neptune is the planet of sleep and dreams. So if you felt more sleepy or like you're having a hard time getting motivated, guys, I'm right there with you. I've been so tired the past few days after this eclipse, feeling really drained. But know that your current energy levels don't necessarily reflect your future energy levels. So, Elena, for you, I think more leaning into like How would it feel being in the program? How would it feel to commit rather than like, is it in me to commit? You know, because right now your energy levels probably don't reflect how they'll feel in a couple weeks whenever this opportunity begins. I got you, girl. I got you. Okay, let's talk about the Sagittarius moon. I love how you brought up Jupiter and Aries, Kayla, because the Sagittarius moon is ruled by Jupiter. And so it can make us feel a little bit more outgoing and fiery with the moon in Sagittarius. We normally feel that way, but with so much Neptunian energy as well. I really feel like this is a day for philosophy. Sagittarius, you know, it's fun, it's outgoing, it's abundant, and it also rules higher learning and philosophy, religion, things like that. So we might want to share our ideals, share what we're learning with other people today. We like being around other people. We're more outgoing with the moon in Sagittarius. We crave expansion. We crave fun. And it doesn't all have to be surface level. The Sagittarius moon and Sagittarius energy in general takes us higher, helps us expand our minds. So you might find yourself, you know, around other people, sharing your ideals, sharing the things you've been learning. Overnight, 4 a.m., so for Kayla who lives on the East Coast, this might be the energy you felt when you first woke up at 7 a.m. East time. This was the first transit of the day, a trine between the moon and Chiron. Chiron being the wounded healer, this icy outer body in our solar system that is representative of our deepest wounds and ultimately our ability to heal them. So you can see the moon over here in Sagittarius when it was at 14 degrees, forming a nice flowing trine to Chiron in Aries. Chiron transits can be provoking. They can trigger us, right? But this really fortunate angle between the moon and Chiron is helping us gain that higher perspective, expand our understanding of our healing journey. A lot has come up for a lot of us during eclipse season. Mercury retrograde as well, forcing us to kind of go back and review things. This transit between the moon and Chiron today is allowing us to flow with our healing journey, allowing us to have those insights come through that help us understand why everything is happening, why everything is coming up, how much we've been releasing that maybe normally we would have been triggered by, or why those triggers are coming up in order for us to release. This can allow healing insights to flow through, especially if we find ourselves in those philosophical conversations with other people. It could be like this easy little ping of insight that's like, oh, I get it now. I get why this is all happening. And we can just gain a greater understanding of the pain that was maybe dredged up during this weekend's eclipse. It's like if you have any open wounds under this trine between the moon and Chiron, they can heal easily. At 5 a.m., the moon formed this uncomfortable angle to Uranus. We don't feel this very strongly because we have other stronger transits today, but if it feels like there's a lot of shifts and changes happening around you and you can't quite see the big picture, you don't fully understand things yet, that's okay. You don't have to have it all figured out in this moment. Just know that like shifts and changes are happening. Today is just not a day where we're fully aligned with the understanding of them. Mercury retrograde isn't helping. Yeah. Oh, I feel that so much. And you said it's all happening in my third house. So I'm finding it hard to keep my mouth shut about anything. And I'm having to be super conscious of being kind when I tell people anything. But Kayla, you are already on the right path. Like having this awareness is such a beautiful thing. So many people go through life not having anything close to this awareness. So yes, you know, I'm assuming you're talking about, oh, okay, wait. You talked about this earlier. I'm going backwards now. My progress chart shows Jupiter conjunct moon at 23 and 24 degrees in Aries. Jupiter return is around the corner. Loving it in Aries, even though it's not happy there. And, you know, Jupiter in Aries can bring a little bit of fire. It's not specifically horrible there. It's just a little impulsive. But yeah, that makes sense that you're kind of like finding yourself blurting things out. And if you have an Aries moon as well, that can add some emotion into it. But like I said, you already have all of this awareness. You are truly the best interpreter of your own chart, regardless of how many readings you get. Like once you start to understand the energy, you can understand your chart better than anybody else because you know yourself better than anybody else. And you're having great awareness already. So little applause, pat on the back for you. It's okay if you're not doing things perfectly all the time. You're gaining that awareness. And every time you maybe say something too quickly or have a little slip up, you are taking note of that and becoming better for it. So proud of you. Great job, girl. And you are a Sag rising. Okay, so this eclipse was probably pretty tough for you, Elena, but now the moon is in your first house. You're probably feeling yourself a little bit more today, and I'm happy for you. Things are probably feeling a little better. Yes, love seeing how she's able to apply the astrology to her daily life. That's why we do this forecast, because even if you know all the astrology, it's helpful to know what's happening and not have to figure it all out for yourself every day. And this is the beauty of astrology. If things feel tense, if things feel uncomfortable, understanding how... Hello, Mercury retrograde. Understanding how everything is happening for you, not to you. My natal moon is in Capricorn in the first house, so that's very weird for me. Interesting. We'll talk about the Capricorn moon over the next couple days more, and keep coming back. I'm curious to see how it feels for you with the moon in Capricorn. That's kind of the best way to understand that energy, is to go through it and kind of take note. Like, how do I feel during a Capricorn moon with my natal moon being in Capricorn? I will say moon in the first house, it's like wearing your emotions on your sleeve for sure. But with a Capricorn moon, you're a little bit more detached from your emotions. So I see how that's weird. Definitely. Okay, back to the Sagittarius moon. We talked about the moon forming a harmony to Chiron. We talked about the shifts happening around us and not feeling 100% aligned with them right now. But currently, we have a really beautiful transit to talk about, and that's probably why you guys are feeling the love in the comments. The moon is harmonizing with Venus at this moment. So here's the moon, here's Venus. You see that dark blue line between them. That's a 120-degree angle. And when this happens, love, affection flow very easily. We want to be around other people. We enjoy being around other people. We can share our love easily. Sharing is huge today with the moon in the benevolent, generous sign of Sagittarius. We just want everybody else to feel good, and we want to feel good. Today's a day to indulge in pleasure. Again, we don't want to get carried away because we have Mars conjunct Neptune, so don't go too far in that direction. But allow yourself to feel good in this moment. Allow yourself to feel good, especially in the earlier part of the day, because as we'll talk about momentarily, things get a little bit messier tonight. But right now, we're able to attract and achieve our desires with ease, with the moon harmonizing with Venus. Creativity and passion are abundant in this moment. And this is just a great time to lean into love, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's self-love, love for other people. Maybe it's, you're watching this at your desk at work, and after you hop off the live stream, you just go give someone a compliment. Moon trine Venus. Give someone a compliment. Share your affection with other people. It'll come really easily today, and probably will make you get a little boost of, positive chemicals in your body too. Sharing things, telling other people how wonderful they are. When we say things out loud, it's like our brain is processing them for ourselves as well. And so compliment other people, share in the good love. It's like the best transit when the moon harmonizes with Venus like this. Okay, and the final transit we're talking about today. Take a look at the chart if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, because we have a mashup of energy at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So late tonight, this is what we're feeling. Let's jump ahead like 6 hours, just so we're a little closer. Okay, so when the moon is at 24 degrees, close enough, the moon forms a square to that conjunction between Mars and Neptune, really creating confusion. And this is the point where it's like boundaries are blurred between impulse and intuition. It's really hard to tell the difference. And the Sagittarius moon makes us more spontaneous. So definitely slow your roll tonight. Here is the silver lining, and it's weird to talk about this as a silver lining because we're talking about Saturn, and Saturn is almost never a silver lining. But today it is. So as this is happening, the moon is also forming a sextile, a supportive 60-degree angle to Saturn, helping us pump the brakes, helping us act with maturity, be patient, slow down. So it's really interesting. Saturn and Neptune have both been at 24 degrees for a while, and it's actually been really helpful because Neptune creates a lot of delusion, confusion, imagination. It's very floaty, off on a cloud. Saturn is like grounded, boundaries. They're like almost opposite energies in a sense. And anytime one planet has been connecting to one, it's also been connecting to the other. So it has been helping us stay a little bit more stable, grounded, mature amidst this confusing season that we're in right now. But I will still say, slow your roll tonight. Don't follow impulses tonight. It's probably not going to lead down the best path for you. And if you're feeling a little aggressive or confused, that's okay. Saturn can also, as much as it makes us mature and patient, it can bring in doubt. So keep that in mind as well. If there's confusion, if there's this sense of like, I need to do something right now, I need to just do it, Saturn can also be there. It's almost a good sense of doubt, like, maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you shouldn't go full force in that direction. Maybe you shouldn't be too optimistic about the outcome of that situation with the moon in Sagittarius. Let's just let's backtrack a little bit. Do we have a solid foundation? Is it steady? Is it secure? It's like Saturn is actually working in our favor in this transit tonight. So the energy of today in general can just feel confusing. It can feel like we need to do something, we're optimistic about things, but also like, what are we actually doing? What's happening here? It's hard to see the big picture. It can feel like you're excited about things, but you're also kind of stuck in your own mental cloud of like, what's the right thing to do? What's the best way forward? Is June 10th, is that Mercury retrograde shadow period is over, or something is happening on June 10th? Now I need to look at my calendar. Let's see. I'm guessing you're referencing Mercury retrograde shadow period, but also, this quiet and solitude. Honestly, not a bad idea. It's after the new moon. We'll be feeling a little more motivated by June 10th. It'll be the first quarter moon. And if June 10th is coming to you, girl, sometimes it's just like you've got to follow that your own intuition. I feel that. See, you guys are on the same page. Yeah, okay. Because Mercury officially stations direct on the 3rd, but then we have a week or two shadow period after. So yeah, June 10th is a good date to keep in mind of when maybe things will get a little clearer and we'll have more clarity. I know that seems really far away right now, and that doesn't mean you can't do things in the meantime or profound realizations can't happen in the meantime. They definitely can. Mercury retrograde can bring a lot of positives too as we take that time in solitude to get quiet, to reflect, to review things so that when Mercury stations direct again, Jupiter is in Aries, we're ready to move forward, take all the insights we've gained during Mercury retrograde and apply them to something new. Okay, let's do a little overview and then we will finish out by pulling a card. So, the question of the day: is it intuition or is it impulse? The planet of aggression and the planet of imagination merge today. And as Mars and Neptune come into this conjunction, it can create confusion. We might be tempted to take messy action today or just follow our intuitive impulses. However, that can lead us down a rabbit hole really quickly. We want to be careful not to get too carried away in a delusion. We really want to protect our energetic boundaries today. It's not a great time to start something new or jump full force into something because we can't see the full picture. There's a lot of cloudiness. There's a lot of confusion surrounding this transit. We will be able to tap into our empathy and our compassion more easily while we are taking action, and we'll feel more generous because the moon is in Sagittarius today. So being selfless, helping others is definitely favored. Just make sure it's not at the expense of yourself, your own boundaries, and your own energy. As I mentioned, the moon is in Sagittarius, making us more outgoing and making us a little more philosophical. We want to share our ideas and have those expansive conversations and interactions with other people. The moon formed a harmony to Chiron this morning, helping us heal old wounds with ease, and the moon is forming that same harmony to Venus this afternoon, helping us to flow with love, act with affection. We can share our positivity and our desires with other people. We can compliment people. It's just love comes through really easily when the moon harmonizes with Venus in this way. But the energy shifts tonight because we have this tense mashup of energy. The Sagittarius moon forms a harsh 90-degree angle to that conjunction between Mars and Neptune, making us feel like we need to do something, but we're also confused about what to do. And so this is not the time, again, to jump into anything. Luckily, the moon at the same time forms a sextile to Saturn, helping us pump the brakes, slow our roll, be a little more patient, and act with maturity. In this transit, Saturn is actually a saving grace, which is very interesting. But Saturn is really helping us to slow it down, understand we have plenty of time. We don't have to have it all figured out right now, and we don't have to do it all right now. So today's a day to just be in your feels, really get tapped into your own body, your own feelings, your own intuition. Maybe don't do anything with it today, but just really feel into what your motivations are telling you. Our motivations can be a little bit confused with Mars conjunct Neptune, but this is kind of a time where we're going to want to feel into it and start to sort it out a little bit. Again, the key here, you don't have to have it all figured out today. If it feels confusing, you're par for the course. You're right on track. And it's okay to be confused sometimes. It's kind of the universe just telling us, hold off. You don't have to do it right now. You know, unless you're crystal clear about something, I would not move in that direction today. All right, let's go ahead and pull a card. I used to beat myself up for not having clarity or energy or whatever. Now I just blame it on the cosmos. Snaps to that, Elena. And I don't even think it's blaming. It's just acknowledging that there are days where we're clear. There are days where we're tired. There are days where we're energetic. And today is probably a day where we're not full energy because Mars and Neptune can put a damper on our energy as well. Yeah, thank you, Saturn. Like, who thought we would say that, right? Not me doing the same thing. Yeah, it's really easy, especially as women, I think. We have really high expectations of ourselves, and we want to serve other people and take care of other people. And, you know, especially as powerful women, it's hard to feel confused or unclear about things. It's not fun for anybody, really. But it's not just you. It is not just you. And that's what I love about astrology too, is that reassurance, like, I'm not going crazy. I am not a POS human. I am just feeling the current energy, and that's okay because we all are. And, you know, helps me have a lot more compassion and empathy for the people around me who are experiencing the same energy, even if they can't fully make sense of that energy. Okay, let's see. What do we need to know today? Ooh, I've never pulled this card. By the way, we're pulling from the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. Beautiful deck. And we just pulled the Golden Children card. Inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. Ooh, I'm excited. I've never pulled this card before. Inner child. I think also just kind of like what Kayla was saying, getting quiet, taking this time to reflect, review. You might be reflecting on things from your childhood, maybe connecting with your inner child during this time. And that's a beautiful thing, even if it's confusing, even if you haven't gotten it all figured out. Okay, here's what it says. Golden children, children of the sun, are highly advanced, extremely intelligent souls who are incarnating increasingly on planet Earth. They have little or no personal karma and possess incredible gifts and intuitive abilities. Golden children are born with a very clear mission. Many remember it from a young age and begin answering and sharing it early in life. Due to their unique intelligence, they may find themselves easily bored at school. Most have never incarnated on Earth before, and so if they're not supported in the right ways, they struggle with physical life here. They're often referred to as new humans. If you pull this card, it might be a sign that you're being called to mother, father, or nurture a child. You may be called to tend to your own inner child, a creative idea or project, or a new beginning. To treat yourself or the new beginning with sweet, tender love, to nurture and nourish it, to give it every chance to grow and reach adulthood, to encourage it, to water it, to see the world through the innocence of a child, to see yourself and all others as innocent children, to remember that deep down, everyone is trying their best, and if they're treated with a tender heart, they'll not harden as they journey through this great adventure called life. How can you treat yourself or others more tenderly? I love this. I love this so much. How can you treat yourself and others more tenderly? I feel like it talked about a new creative project, and that could come through right now, especially as the Sagittarius moon is harmonizing with Venus. It makes us feel a little more creative. Mars conjunct Neptune can really enhance that creativity. So this is a beautiful day to let that ruminate. If things are coming through your imagination, write them down, get them out, but wait until there's more clarity about like really going full force towards that project. I love how it says like let yourself ruminate in that creativity today. And this is really inviting us to remember that we all have children within us. We all have that inner child. Treat others with empathy, with compassion. That will be easy to do with Mars conjunct Neptune today. So even if you're feeling a little irritated at all, just remember to give yourself that love, your own inner child that love, and to give other people that same grace, that same compassion, because we're all special. We all have gifts to share, even going through tense periods like this post-eclipse Mercury retrograde period. And I just think it's interesting that this is all about children. I don't know. But yeah, I also love how this brought up creativity because that's not something we talked about. But today could be a really powerful day for creativity. Mars conjunct Neptune can really churn that creative motivation within us. And it's all about messy action with Mars and Neptune. So I feel like if you are experiencing that impulse, like I need to do something right now, channeling it through creativity is it's a wonderful outlet for it because you can't mess anything up when you're being creative. Do a little project, paint, dance around, get any impulse out through creativity. Intuitive action is the most beautiful force that can birth creations. So channel any discomfort into creativity today. Such a beautiful card, right? Self-forgiveness and tenderness through all this energy. Yes, 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 100%. Yes, I will be announcing the birth chart reading winner tomorrow, and I'm so glad that you brought that up. So I'll post about it on my story one more time today, but let me show you here. We do have an astrology giveaway going right now, so you can just head to my Instagram, pull it up here, and enter. There's just directions. Hello, Mercury retrograde again. There are directions in the comments of how to enter, what you need to do, and basically you just have to follow me and tag 2 friends in the comments, like the post, and follow one other account, Goddess Night Out, a local ladies night that we're starting here in Sacramento, and I will be announcing the winner tomorrow. So you still have time to enter, and I'm so excited to see who wins. All right, everyone. This has been such a fun live stream with you all. And I hope that any confusion, any irritation you're feeling, that you can meet yourself with that empathy and compassion and give the same to others. We'll be live again in about a half hour talking all about Saturn returns with my friend Court from the Saturn Return Diaries and Bravely Beautiful brand. And the title of the episode is What You Should Know Before Your Saturn Return. Now, if you've already gone through your Saturn return, that's okay. We'll still have plenty to talk about, and you'll probably have another Saturn return coming up in, 10, 15, 20 years. So always a good thing to keep in mind. And maybe if you weren't aware of your Saturn return the first time, this will help you be a little bit more prepared the next time. Fun for a Taurus in the 5th house, looking like redecorating a space in my home. Yeah, that would be a really great way to use today's energy as well, especially if you're feeling motivated to be creative. Awesome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you found this video helpful, please go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. We're close to getting to 1,000 subscribers, so we can finally monetize this channel, keep these videos coming to you for free every single day. I hope you join us to talk about Saturn returns in just a few minutes. If you can't make it live, you can find the episode anytime on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And tomorrow we'll be talking all about the moon in Capricorn. So I believe it was Kayla who says she has a Capricorn moon in the 1st house. Yes, tomorrow's episode is going to be a good one for you. I love you all. I'm so grateful you showed up for yourself today. I'm so grateful you showed up for each other and for this community today. I love to see all of your conversation in the comments. And I will see you right back here for another episode of Transits Today tomorrow morning. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.